Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Luna Bloomer, and I am the founder of Vegan Bloomers. And today, our star vegan we have is Will. So, welcome, Will. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's too hot out there anyway. I'm happy to sit in here and be cool with you.
It is hot today, isn't it? I'm inside, but I'm still sweating already. And I'm like, I've got to go to work soon. I'm like, oh, no.
Too much.
Yeah, it is too much. So let's begin with where you're based, how old you are, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I live in Hythe, well, in Saltwood in Hythe. Always lived here. Never managed to cross the threshold between counties. So, and yeah, 44, 45 in a little while. And yeah, I'm a dad of three, granddad of three, and entrepreneurial by spirit. So probably means I'm unemployable, but I like to do my own thing. I like to set my own path in life, and it's working out well at the moment. And yeah, for my sins, I do some coaching and some corporate work on behavioural awareness and emotional intelligence. I'm a magistrate. I'm a keen golfer, and when I'm not doing that, I like to walk my little dog Teddy.
Oh, lovely. What breed is your dog?
He's a cockapoo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, one of the club in Saltwood. There's about, I don't know, 20 cockapoos now. We
really?
started one. Yeah, it's like when you get a new car, isn't it? And you think, oh, I've got this lovely new car. No one else has seen it. Suddenly you see them everywhere. And we was like part of this cockapoo group that's bloody everywhere now.
That's hilarious. So do you have like little cockapoo meetups?
Yeah, they know each other. They're very, very keen on their own kind. I think they're
nice.
sort of the most racist of dogs. They just only like other cockapoos mainly.
Brilliant. I love it. So let's talk about your vegan journey. So when was it that you turned vegan, and what was your inspiration?
Well, it's probably like many people. It's been a sort of gradual, incremental journey to sort of, I suppose, full-on veganism, and that's been over the last 3.5 years, maybe. So when I had a really good like mentor, I suppose. He doesn't know he's my mentor, but my wife's stepdad is vegetarian and really, really strong, really vibrant. He doesn't look his age, doesn't act his age, and he's just been very sort of clear on it that, you know, I'm a vegetarian and that's what I do. He eats fish, but he's always been a mariner, so he's at sea, and he, like, I suppose, having to keep himself fit and strong, and not near many fields with things growing in it. So went sort of pescatarian, but mainly vegetarian. I thought, well, you know, if he can do it and still be as active as he is and look as good as he does at his age, maybe it's a good idea. So I kind of went vegetarian with a bit of fish every now and again, and then went pescatarian, I suppose, because I thought, oh, I need to keep my fish. I grew up by the sea as well, and it's just what's drummed into you, isn't it? We had a freezer full of mackerel all the time and loads of seafood. I was like, what's the harm in that? You know, a little bit of fish. And kind of had, you know, some ins and outs, I suppose, along the journey, but really, really adamant about not eating chicken, not eating beef, not eating lamb or goat or anything else like that. Never really wanted it before. But yeah, kind of ended up vegan because I thought, actually, this is pretty easy. I found it fairly easy. There was nothing I was missing. And the big moments in my progression along that path has been watching documentaries, speaking to people about their own journey, their experience, what they're eating, you know, and the things that they're enjoying on their plate. So a bit of, I try and say this to people that ask me, why did you bother, you know, why did you go vegan in the first place? And it's a mixture, really. I love animals. I think animals are great, and I've got that whole kind of moral thing going on. I don't want to see anyone or anything suffer. But that wasn't just it for me. I kind of got used to that, I suppose, because that's how we're conditioned. And then there was the bit about health that really got me. And kind of going into my, I suppose, late 40s soon, I did worry about my health, and not that I've anything to worry about now, but looking ahead, I'm thinking I don't want to have anything to worry about then either.
Yeah.
And I remember watching, was it Game Changers? I think it was. the real science behind that. So I live in the emotional realm and definitely the science realm as well, doing what I do with behavioural science. And if it makes sense to me, it's much easier to make a decision rather than just go on your gut or follow your spirit or whatever. My spirit never seems to be that strong enough. It needs a bit of science to cling on to. So I watched that, and it's like, athletes doing better, people getting over long-term chronic illnesses, stuff like that. And I thought, the science sounds pretty sound to me, and put that together with my moral thing. And then the environmental penny dropped for me as well. Oh my God, of course it makes sense to not eat meat when this is what the industry does to the planet. So that was kind of the final little part of the puzzle, I suppose, for me, when everything I thought about for my own benefit really married up with what I want and hope for the future of this planet and my kids and my grandchildren and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
To be honest, Luna, I was just trying to keep pace with my daughter, who's like a proper vehement vegan, and my grandson Arthur as well, who asks everyone, like, are you a vegan? Why are you not a vegan? He's one of he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. Like,
how old is he?
He is 7, nearly 8.
That's brilliant.
But it's, and this is something that has bothered me over the years, is the activism is brilliant, and what's the word? I'm not extreme vegan, but like there are some people out there that make it very difficult for people to have the conversation about veganism. So it's really good that forums like this are there to make sure that people realise this is not just a bunch of weirdos or extremists. They just made an informed choice for themselves about what they want to put in their bodies and how they want to treat the planet. So when he walks up with all the best intentions of the world and sort of asks people, are you vegan? Why not? They're like, you jumped up, little git. Like, and that's the problem in an argument where it's so polarized. I think, I eat meat. Why do you eat meat? Because I've always eaten meat. Why have you always eaten meat? Because that's what I do. I like it. Blah, blah, blah. They're not going to sway. And the same goes for a vegan over here. It's very much so, I'm not going to eat meat or do anything that damages, the ecosystem, whatever. There's no like middle ground.
Yeah.
So I find it's quite a difficult conversation to have, which is why the documentaries, I think, have really helped to inform people. So
yeah, 100%.
You need a bit of a shock, but it's better when it doesn't come from your like sanctimonious best mate who said, I've been vegan 6 months and I feel better than I've ever felt, and I'm not damaging the planet like you. Like,
yeah.
I don't need my burger with a side order of guilt. And we're thinking, well, it should taste a little bit guilty,
Yeah.
It shouldn't taste as good as you think it does.
That's true. So your kids, you've got a younger kid, haven't you? Am I right? So is he vegan?
Yeah. He is mainly vegan, yeah. And the reason I say that is because he goes to school and it's just a tricky one at school. So he has school meals. But the good news is he doesn't really mind either way. He's on a journey as well. And I want to inform him as much as possible, but I don't want to force him.
Yeah.
He was eating meat up until the point that basically my wife stopped as well. So I was the first, and I didn't expect them to change their behaviour. I didn't want them to necessarily until they're ready, if they wanted at all. So yeah, he still has his bits and bobs at school, but he will pick vegetarian, vegan options that he likes. And thanks to being exposed to stuff at home, he likes more. So
that's good.
It's not just a case of show me the burger or chicken nuggets. It's what do I like the look of, literally.
Yeah. So was he quite easy? Did he like kick up a fuss when you started eating vegan at home? Or was he pretty chilled?
He's pretty chilled, yeah. He was interested, and I think that's the most important first step, just interested. So you look on at the way other people live their lives. If it's very different from you, you just kind of sit back and observe and you think, oh, what's going on for that person? They do a lot of exercise, for example, and they seem to be happy, healthy, and full of life. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I should do a bit of that. This person eats only vegan food. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with them, but they certainly seem to be a bit happier about the choices they make
Yeah.
food-wise. So he's interested, and I think, you know, like I say, it's part of the journey. You'll probably end up right slap bang in it, and like my grandson, be asking people, "Why are you vegan?" But
Brilliant. How old is your son?
he's 10.
Nice.
He's 10. Yeah,
Awesome.
good lad.
Have you random question? Have you managed to find any vegan friendly kids books?
I haven't. No.
Oh.
I mean, he's. I'll be interested to have a look at them. I mean, what I have found with Henry is he quite likes, probably like me, he quite likes the science and stuff. So there's already 2 bits of the puzzle in his puzzle, right? He loves the environment. He loves doing the right thing by that. He picked up litter when he's in the sea swimming yesterday.
Aww.
He does his bit, so he's really conscious of that. He also absolutely adores animals. So we went to was it an animal sanctuary out by like
The retreat?
yeah, the retreat, that's the one. We went to the retreat the other day, and it was just lovely seeing pigs be pigs, not pigs be pork.
Yeah.
Like, and it just opened his eyes a little bit wider. And this is it. It's just part of that learning curve. It's amazing seeing pigs, isn't it? Like just doing what they do.
It is. It's so incredible. Like I remember I went a little while ago, and there was one pig in particular, like saw me and came straight up to me, lay down by the fence because he just wanted a belly rub, and I just sat there for ages, just giving him a belly rub, and he was loving it, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, they are. They're just such sentient animals, and you know, I don't understand what people don't see. This is where I'm at now. I don't understand what they are not seeing when they see the calves playing with their mums and each other, and it's and most people do this. This is the weirdest one, right? And I was guilty of it massively. You kind of go to lambing day at Brock Hill School.
Yeah.
And you celebrate the fact that they're beautiful and they're bouncing around, they're lovely, they're full of life. Spring's here, you know, all's good. 2 lamb burgers, please, and you know, extra onions.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
what is going on? Like a real disconnect.
Yeah.
And so the mammal side of things, you know, I've always found really easy. Even when I was eating them, I kind of felt bad, but I got over it, you know.
Yeah.
Every time, but I felt bad already. It was the pescatarian thing. I just didn't feel anything for fish, and because I thought they felt the same about me. I didn't think that they had any kind of sentience or anything, like, really. But when I looked at it, I thought, oh, actually, it's fine for me to think dolphins are intelligent. It's fine for me to think sharks are pretty sharp as well. It's fine for me to think octopus are just the most incredible creatures.
Oh my gosh, yes, they are.
And yet I'll have some squid rings, fine. You know, because I couldn't sort of bring the 2 things together. Then I watched Seaspiracy. It was only like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So right, I get that now. So that was again that emotional part of it added into that to make it really, really solid for me. But I couldn't believe that thing. I sobbed my heart out.
Same. I was the same. So I grew up with like my whole family like fishing and stuff. So in my brain, fish don't have feelings. They don't feel anything. They're just like, and they're ugly. Like was how I viewed them basically. But now, especially after seeing Seaspiracy, but I saw Seaspiracy like a long time ago because they had like a shorter version. And now I actually probably feel the most sad for fish than I do any other animal. And it's just really interesting because, you know, going from like where they don't feel anything to suddenly actually it breaks my heart the most because I think they go through the worst, to be honest.
So where I mean, it's really interested to find out from you and everyone else on here, like how you transition, I suppose, through, and I want to think of them as distinct levels almost, that you get to the point where you're purist, because I wouldn't say I'm a purist at all yet. I've still bought trainers and shoes and then gone, oh bugger, I could have definitely bought a pair of shoes that were vegan friendly. And it's becoming easier to do that because it's on on your radar. But
I think it's
there's
still,
honey, there's everything like that, isn't there?
it's still very difficult. Like I find, like I went through, I find it really difficult to buy shoes because I don't want to buy them because I know they're not vegan. And I went on a kind of tangent of buying only vegan stuff, but most of the shoes I went through, they were really badly made, and I was spending a fortune. So I've kind of stopped, but I'm hoping eventually, when I run into a bit more money, that I'll be able to continue doing that. My brother did find me a pair of shoes which were like £4 that were vegan, and they lasted me a year. So but they don't have them anymore. They're from Aldi's. So I'm kind of like, I'm looking out for really cheap ones so that I can buy them. But I try to just kind of, I'm quite a minimalistic person anyway. So I tend to just kind of buy from charity shops and stuff like that. So in my head, that's like if I'm going to buy shoes, it's less bad to buy stuff from a charity shop. Although I personally, I wouldn't buy stuff like wool or leather. Like as soon as I went vegan, I actually had a wool coat, which I loved, but I just couldn't wear it anymore. So I just gave it away. I just couldn't do it. So
and see, and that's another like little penny dropping as well for me. I go, oh yeah, maybe wool's bad, but I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah,
I was thinking, well, they're raised, at least a wool herd are like, they're kept alive because they're good for it. Like we get some more wool for you. So I think when they're not.
I think it's a case of like just keep educating yourself. Like it's like with honey, for example. I loved honey, and when I became vegan, I still intended to kind of eat it because I didn't see the issue. But when I became vegan, I just didn't. Like I just couldn't bring myself to do it, and I didn't know why, but I just didn't. And then I eventually found a video which explained why. I can send it to you if you like.
That'd be cool.
And
I can't find there's a documentary about it called what's it? It's not just about honey or something like that.
Oh, is there? I've not seen that.
Yeah, like a full-on documentary.
Okay.
It's more than honey, and it's
Right.
a really like shocking expose of the honey industry.
Okay.
But yeah, that is a tricky one for me because I cut out as much refined sugar as I could. Again, this is the health thing, the science thing.
Yeah.
As I watch people in my life get ill and die, and I was like, right, okay, they drank too much, they ate red meat, they ate too much sugary stuff.
Yeah.
Let's cut that out. And I thought honey was a fairly good alternative, but exactly like you're saying, I love bees. I sit out in my garden, I just watch them for hours, and if ever I hear a buzz, I'm walking past like a humming bush, and I just watch them do their little thing. They're amazing.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, there are, there's some, things that are like, can I, can't I? So I totally get that. But there are stuff, if you look for it, you'll find it. Like there's answers to everything, like especially like Earthling Ed is like probably my favorite. Like he's just got videos on everything. Like, and the way that he speaks about it is so like, he's not aggressive. He's just, matter of fact, and he's really compassionate, and like that comes through in all his videos. So but Earthling Ed is the one I saw about bees, so I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
That'd be cool.
I might link it to the bottom of this actually, in case anyone else is watching and wants to see it.
Yeah, why not?
That's a good idea.
Right. Well done. Well had.
Next question. So I know you mentioned that you didn't really struggle with anything, but is there anything that as a vegan that you miss that you haven't managed to find?
I guess I did. I was thinking about. I did sort of struggle a little bit. I struggled with cheese. Really struggled with cheese, and that's just a taste thing, more than anything. I did eat quite a lot of cheese beforehand, but found quite decent cheeses. I have to say, vegan market, come on, up your game, because this is still an area where we need some development. But Applewood smoked cheese is absolutely incredible. I struggled a little bit with milk alternatives because I didn't really like almond milk. It's just a bit too much for me.
Almond milk's vile.
Soya milk was the same, just a bit gooky for me. And then when oat milk finally sort of came good, I know there was oat milk always, but it just looked like somebody had trodden in a puddle with some oats at the bottom of it, and that's how it looked. Now it looks and tastes amazing. So people come and have coffees and teas here. Nobody has ever said anything. Oh, what milk have you put in my tea? Nobody.
Oh, really?
And that's incredible. It's just Aldi's own oat milk. I can't say anything more than that. So yeah, the dairy side of things, eggs was hard. Eggs was really hard. And
Have you found an alternative?
Pardon?
Have you found an alternative to eggs?
Not really. No, I just try and cut them out. What I would say, and this is maybe for the sake of the people who are watching this later on, who think, well, I'm not a good vegan. I wouldn't say I'm a good vegan. I'm really trying hard. But if I go somewhere and there's cake or whatever, I won't sit there and grill them about the fact there's an egg in it. It's just the choices I make for myself are, tend to be the righter ones for me. Yep. But I try and be as flexible as I can. But even my 10-year-old grandson, 7-year-old, he shows actually it's easy to be as vehement as you want. You turn up, you just don't eat the cake, and I'm like, well, it's not good for you. And maybe I'll be more like that in the future. So it's a lazy vegan. Is that right? Lazy vegan.
Yeah.
But there is a thing, and this is one of the hardest parts of joining the club. I think is that how vegan are you?
Yeah.
And I think it's such a shame. People do it. People do it in religion as well, or people do it in anything like that. Well, how much of a football fan are you really?
Yeah.
Do you really belong beside me in the stands while we're shouting and screaming? And then they'll quiz you on it, like, how much of the club history do you really know?
Yeah.
How do you know all the birth dates of all the people that have ever played for this team? You're like, oh, get off my back. You know what I mean? I just enjoy the game. And I think that's where I came in with veganism. I just enjoy the game. I understand the principles of what's going on here. I understand the rules of the game, that you don't eat as much stuff that does harm to other things as you can. And sometimes I miss the odd shot. And sometimes but I still turn up. I still turn up to training every time,
Yeah.
So I'm trying my hardest, but it does annoy me. It really does annoy me. Same as you get it in politics. Anything where there's people that are really passionate about it.
Yeah.
Don't you come in half-assed, whatever you do, or you'll get gunned down by the very people that you're trying to support. And I actually
noticed. And the thing
this.
is if you actually look at the definition of veganism too, it says to remove harm as far as practical, because we don't there's no such thing as 100% vegan, unless you're completely self-sustainable, I guess, and complete minimalist. It's just not possible, because we don't live in that world yet. So you can be as vegan as you possibly can, but you still have to sometimes make sacrifices. At the moment, begrudgingly, because I'm very anti-medication, I always have been, but because of the pain I've been in, because I've had an ear infection, I have had no choice but to take medication, because it's that, or I just deal with the pain and it's too much, and that has meat in it, and it's been tested on animals. And for me, it's really hard to do that, because I am very, I'm very passionate about being vegan, but at the end of the day, I don't live in a vegan world, that I don't have access to vegan medication, so I have to just do it.
And do you know what, though, it's really important. I mean, I liken it to some of the coaching clients I have. It's that the hardest part of the process, certainly in coaching, but probably in veganism as well, is the bit where you're getting more aware of stuff.
Yeah.
You're more aware of yourself. I mean, self-awareness is a painful process.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Buddha and Socrates didn't talk about these things lightly. Know thyself as being a life's mission. Jesus Christ. You'd have thought you'd learn maths and English and science and other people before you start to really concentrate on yourself, because it's painful. It's hard. So, like me booing my eyes out at documentaries, it's hard. I don't really want to sit there and feel guilt and feel shame and feel just absolutely rotten for the suffering that's gone on in my name up till now, let alone the suffering that's going on that I feel like I can't do much about.
Yeah.
I don't really want to. It's hard. It's horrible. And that's, I think, why most people don't just take the step and say anything, even if they are making the right choice. So, loads of people thinking about going vegan. Loads of people.
Yeah.
isn't it? You have conversations. Oh, you know, it's either they do three things. There's three people I've come across in the world who aren't vegan. One is I'm thinking about becoming vegan. Okay, cool. And then they ask you loads of questions about it. And I think I should probably do that. Then the other one is that, I do eat, I only eat meat a couple of times a week now. I mean, I make very good choices. And I didn't say you didn't, but you know, you're obviously a little bit bothered by it when you look into my mirror. Good for you. The other one is, I love meat. Oh, you know, you almost like you've got a problem. I spoke to a guy the other day. I didn't tell him I was vegan. That's some of the problem with vegans. How do you spot one? You'll find out soon enough. But
Admittedly, I'm one of them.
Exactly. That's fine. But I was sitting over my lunch. I was in, because I do magistrate work for like my volunteering, having my lunch, and he's sort of looking over his shoulder. He's like, "Oh, what you got there?" And it was what did I have? Oh, I had a wrap with some like fake chicken. Gets bad when you start talking about fake chicken, and in a wrap with some salad. And he's like, "You got fake chicken for?" I said, "Well, that's what I choose to eat." So, and you go, "Oh, bloody hell, you're a vegan, aren't you?" And it's throughout the day, he kept making references to his love of meat and going to the butchers and what he's going to have for dinner at the weekend and all this stuff. I was like, "What is your problem?" Like, I haven't said anything about your choices. I didn't even invite the conversation. I haven't read you the riot act yet about killing cows.
It's a defense mechanism, isn't it?
But defense against something that they probably know to be true. How does our choice not to eat meat threaten people's choice to eat meat? I don't understand.
I think it's because deep down they know that it's not okay to do. So I think they go into, you know, defense mode and start being really angry about it because they don't, as you said, it's painful to admit your wrongs.
Well, yeah, because it's been proven, hasn't it? You know, you hang around vegans and you might get healthy.
Yeah.
But that's nonsense. It's not going to happen. You've got to make choices for yourself, and that's on you. That's on you. But the same thing happened, you know, years ago. Thank God it's changing, but slowly changing. I don't want to sit too near to anyone who's gay, because Lord knows what will happen to me.
Oh yeah, I know.
Sorry, what? What on earth has it got to do with you?
I know.
It's crazy. It does my head in.
People like to take things personally, though, don't they? Everything is about everyone else.
Very, very much.
Even though it's not.
Yeah. But I mean, so I still love. I'm really into making those little food discoveries. So I hadn't been to the vegan food market. Hannah, my wife, had quite a few times. We went the other day. And it was lovely to have conversations with people who weren't like, I don't know, but they weren't forceful in their vegan. It's not a thing anymore. They're just, well, you're here because you clearly like this sort of stuff, and we're here because we make this stuff. No conversation. There's not a conversion like gate you have to go through first. We have to get blessed with the, you know, celery water or something like that. I was having a chat with a guy, and he still eats meat. I think he still eats meat. But he makes meat-free alternatives because he realizes this is the way to go. You know, I'm really good at making food. That's why I make this stuff. Because he's passionate about food and quality produce and all that kind of stuff. But it's no like, oh, how vegan are you?
Yeah.
It's much more mature these days.
Yeah, it is.
It was lovely. It's really lovely. I found some amazing. We had it on a pizza last night. Some incredible salamis, which, you know, it just finished off a pizza. I know I've been eating pizzas without, you know, meat alternatives, absolutely fine. But it was nice to have this thing. It's a different texture, different whatnot. Oh, and this is something I've got to talk about. You can tell I'm passionate. You're worried about getting me on, weren't you? Because I wouldn't have anything to say.
No, I knew you'd have loads to say.
But one of the things, the other thing I get quite a lot from people is, why do you have to eat things that look like meat? Because I don't, not all the time, but when I do, it tends to be things like, you know, fake chicken bits and you know, a burger or whatever. And it really bothers me because people don't eat a beef burger because it looks like a cow or a chicken drumstick. As soon as they start to think about it, it's a physical part of a chicken. I bet you any money they go, oh, that's a bit funny. It's not quite as appetizing as it was before.
Right.
So a burger is just a convenient slab of something. I'm like, what's your problem with that? So now I'm not allowed to steal your burger idea that you had, that you didn't have, but that's how it's presented. You eat rashers of bacon because a pig's too big to fit in your stupid face. That's why it gets cut into little slithery bits or lardons or whatever. Such a stupid attitude.
I know.
Why don't you just have a sausage? Why don't you just have a sausage? If you like sausages. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. I do like a sausage. I definitely do like a sausage. Not a murder sausage. I quite like a sort of sausage that hasn't involved murder. But thanks for your input.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The things that people tend to say. Like, yeah, my favourite is the one where people are like, well, you're killing plants. Plants are alive. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, just go away.
Yeah. Well, I put something, you probably saw it. I put something on my, after I've been to the vegan market, I put a picture of our haul that we bought. So some beautiful quiches and the salami and some bacon alternatives that I want, just really, for my son, it's another thing, just go, there you go, look, there's something that might taste a little bit like bacon, and some brownies and all the rest of it. So the title at the top is vegans just eat, seeds and gravel.
Yeah.
And look at this. Look at this lot.
I mean, I don't know how that's still a thing. Like, it blows my mind that people still think that we just eat grass or like rabbit food. Like,
but I still had comments on it. There's a comment. It's a good friend of mine. It's probably tongue in cheek, but I eat meat or something like that. It's like, okay, all right, that's cool. But it's the intolerance. I mean, generally in the world, it's intolerance in the world that is the biggest problem. Of your neighbours, of the people in the country next door, of people that make different choices from you. It's intolerance that's the problem. It's not difference that's the problem. It's fine. I think more people are choosing to become vegan. One, because they get enlightened and they realise it's right for them. And two, they might realise it's right for the environment. And three, it's easier now, right? It's much easier. Going to Aldi, and it's like, that's the most attractive bit in the shop. They're making it so because they know it's a growth market. So, and I do some work with McDonald's at the moment, ethically challenged maybe sometimes. But I work with the people that come up with their recipes, so all the coatings and whatnot. And they're looking at the tasting menu is 95% vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, all these things, these claims that they can make now, health claims. And of course, there's more health claims you can make with a vegan diet. So they're going to make money out of it. They're onto it. But the falafel bites and the fake chicken burgers and the Beyond Meat burgers and stuff like that, they're trying to do the right thing because they know it's a growth market. So in supermarkets, it does look exciting. This is like something new.
Start being in a candy shop.
How many different types of barbecue chicken can you make when it's just chicken? It's just a different barbecue chicken. Well, this is new. This didn't involve a chicken at all, and it's got this different coating. It's slightly different, more versatile maybe, and so it's exciting. It's easier, isn't it, for people to make a choice, or at least have a try, which I love. I love that when people are brave enough to just have a little go.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? You go.
Exactly.
You go back to
I like it.
Burger. But there is the worry that they're going to be poisoned by some kind of I'll be riddled with veganism and there's no way back.
Yep. So next question. How would you say that veganism has personally impacted your life?
I suppose it's very internal. I don't like. So for me, it's just, I think I feel better. I feel better morally. There's no little itch in the back of my sort of conscience, I suppose, about eating meat. Definitely, I feel a bit more in harmony with the world, I suppose. which sounds a bit wafty, but that's important to me. And yeah, I sleep better. Definitely recover better. So I don't overly exercise. There's far too much sitting down to be done, but I do like exercise, and I definitely recover quicker from that. I mean, yeah, nothing hugely dramatic, I wouldn't say, but I just generally feel a little bit better, and it might be a placebo effect, Luna, I don't know, but I felt better straight away. For sure, 100%. Just felt healthier.
Awesome. So what's your favorite vegan food right now?
Well, I mean, to be fair, my favorite vegan food has always been a salad. But,
Okay.
I've never been the sort of person that has to have a meat, side dish or whatever to make a salad pop. For me, a salad is just delicious no matter what. But of the things that have come out on the market, I really, really love Vivera bacon. Had that this morning actually with tomatoes.
Nice.
One of my favourite breakfasts. I really like their kebab meat as well. So
what oomph? Is it oomph?
No, it's still Vivera, I think. So I get it in Sainsbury's every now and again. They have it in there. I think it's probably there all the time, like because things are changing, aren't they? There never used to be Bavaria bacon in the Sainsbury's in Hythe. Now there is. I'm like, my mind is blown. I just get as much as I need, not as much as I think I'll worry about running out. So the kebab stuff's really nice. But I tell you what, game changer for me, because I love hot buttered toast.
Oh yeah.
Was Nutella butter, or Nutella butter alternative.
That's my go-to.
It's banging. It's absolutely banging.
So good.
because the simple things. I mean, a little bit like why I struggled with the eggs. Really, was I used to love a boiled egg and Soldiers, or a fried egg sandwich or something like that. And so the basics to me are quite important. Nice cup of tea, nice bit of hot buttered toast. You can't go wrong. But I tried absolutely every single butter alternative over the years. And I hate margarine with a passion. It's basically like eating plastic that's just like watery. And I didn't like Olivia and all the rest of it because it made your crunchy hot toast all like wangy and mushy. And that's really important for me. When you get mid-40s, you got to enjoy the simple things in life. And when your buttered toast gets taken away from you, it's like losing a limb.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
finding the turning was a big one.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. That's what I have now. I used to have, because I struggled with it as well. And then obviously they brought out Flora and went plant-based, and then they made the buttery one. And then I was really happy because that was what I used to eat like before I was vegan. And then obviously they stopped making it vegan. So then I went on to naturally as well. So that's
what was in Flora then?
Well, they put buttermilk in it.
Oh,
they took it out, like they made the whole lot plant-based, and then because apparently people were complaining, they decided to put buttermilk back in, only the buttery one. But because they did that, I went on strike and I won't buy from Flora anymore because I just think that's wrong. Like they still claim that they're plant-based, but yet they still, they have a product which has got milk in it, which I think's wrong. So I've gone on strike. I won't buy from them anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, I could never cope with Flora. It was always I used to get a little bit anxious about going around people's houses as a kid, like staying over. And even in hotels, they always had butter, which was fine. But I go to like an Airbnb or something like that with work, sit down for breakfast. What do you mean you've only got margarine or Flora? I paid good money for this room. I'm not an animal. Thinking, where's my butter? So might have to, when we travel away, might have to always take my own attorney.
Love it. So have you ever been involved in any activism?
I haven't. No. Not a thing I've done. I'm quite quietly active, I think. I've been in all that I do. In fact, you you're saying about my business before we came on board, like, I don't forget to promote yourself. I'm pretty bad at it, only because I don't like getting up in people's faces about it. I think I'm brilliant at what I do. I think veganism is brilliant. I think loads of things that I'm passionate about is brilliant. But I do struggle with doing the activism thing. Not that I'm ashamed of what I believe in, more that I just don't want conflict, I suppose. I find conflict quite tiring.
Yeah.
And particularly, maybe it's this even more so. I do my activism on the sofa. And I don't think that I don't do it at all. I mean, I do it on my sofa with people that are talking to me, having a conversation. Then I'll let them know what I think in a quite sort of calm, quiet way. And this is just what I believe. This is just what I think is working for me, for example, rather than activism. But I see the activists out there, and I'm like, wow, it's incredible. You need to get that awareness going. However, that situation I was talking to you earlier on about polar opposites, who do you think comes out and shouts back at the activists? Is the people who believe most strongly in the opposite direction. And then it just looks like a mess. Do you know what I mean? It looks like,
yeah, it can do.
Bloody, it happened with Greenpeace. Bloody Greenpeace. I mean, if you're going to save the world, could you try and do so without damaging property, going to prison and upsetting people? Well, turns out probably not. No, we do need a little bit of that.
Yeah.
To kind of.
That's how change happens.
Get things going. Exactly. Change is sometimes difficult. It's kind of why I do what I do. So short answer, no.
Fair enough. And so a final question.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's looking into veganism? It's not quite there yet.
You said it earlier on. What's the worst that could happen? Like, give it a go, and talk to the right people, not everybody. Right? Because if you start going down that track, I think the worst thing you can do is start wearing a "I'm a newly found vegan" badge, because you will have conversation after conversation after conversation with people that will think and feel differently. And although it might not shake your belief, you might just feel a little bit like, oh, God, this is too much hassle. And maybe, so the minute that you feel like you're going to drop off the wagon, you'll probably fall at great speed. And then it's harder to get back on again. I tried veganism, it wasn't for me. And so give it a try. Tentative steps, if you like, but just give it a try. But talk to the right people. Have a look on groups like this, and just keep going there for a little bit of fuel, if you like, for your journey. But just don't scream it at the top of your voice to everybody straight away.
Good advice.
Find your feet.
Sound advice. Right, that is all we have time for. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. I've enjoyed every minute.
Good, me too.
Before we go, for anyone out there that wants to get in touch with you, how can they contact you? Here's your plug-in.
Oh, thanks. Well, so you can find me on LinkedIn as Will Grover, funny enough, because that's my name. I'm the one with the big smile wearing a white shirt, so that's professional links. My website is workingonwhy.com, and you can find me on Facebook. I think same thing, Working on Why. Maybe then you can find my business and link it in at some kind of notes at the bottom. But yeah, I'd love to talk to people. I really enjoy helping people, reach their potential or get over a little hump in their life or whatever. And the first hour is always free, which is good. So there's no harm in getting in touch. In fact, just like veganism, giving it a try. What's the worst that can happen? You might have a conversation with me and think, Jesus, I had no idea I had it within my power to make something of myself at this late stage in my life or whatever. Or you might think, what a div. I'll never get that hour back. But at least it was free.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Right, well, thank you all for watching and tuning in. I hope this has been insightful. And if you are watching and you're vegan and you would like to be our next star vegan, please feel free to get in touch. You can find me on Facebook, Luna Bloomer, or you can email me at veganbloomers@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Much love.